he tried to calzone, and
it
barely choked it down. Yes.
The veggie calzone.
No, it was a full. It was a regular.
Yeah, one of the regular ones, and then his own chicken nuggets, which looked great. I couldn't see a problem with them.
They weren't crispy enough.
Who the fuck cares? They're not all going to be crispy.
Oh, put it in the air fryer.
Well, yeah, I can't. Okay. But then it's not the same as like the crispiness you get literally from
fat. Yeah,
or whatever. It's just like, oh my god.
No, what he ultimately wants is he wants twice fried.
Twice fried, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Mom's gonna try that for him next time with the pork chop.
Twice fried pork chop.
So it gets that real crispiness on the outside.
What do you just throw it in for 30 seconds, then for another 2 minutes, or?
Yeah, you take it out, let it cool a little bit, and then you toss it back. I don't know if she puts more stuff on it or not, but
you can. It's like so.
Like, yeah, she was describing it as.
No, she knows that because that's a Chinese food thing where if you want your chicken wings fried hard, right?
So that's what she's gonna give a go with.
Oh, okay.
Because out of the pork chop, he was like, there was 2 bites, and he was like, that was good.
It's a little gummy though, or.
No, it's crunchy. Like it's solid crunch, and then the inside's still soft and juicy. He says that's the only way he's going to eat his chicken nuggets or chicken tenders or whatever McDonald's does. I don't even know, but those are magical.
I don't know the trick to.
They fry them in gasoline. All right, so that's the episode start there, kickoff. I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
Jeffrey.
I need some gasoline nuggets.
Jeffrey's scratching his head thinking about how this will work.
I feel like if you got gasoline to the temperature that you could boil something in, it would ignite.
It's just that right.
Well, yeah, it's just before that. Yeah.
Oh, right. So I'm the asshole. Okay, got it.
So that's the title of the podcast. Welcome to Coffee Before Bed. Jeff, what is Coffee Before Bed, other than the fact that you're the asshole?
Before bed is like your 3 friends that moved away to Okinawa in 5th grade.
Why Okinawa?
Well, their dads are in the military.
Okay, fair.
So they moved away to Okinawa in 5th grade, and then you met up with them in college, and they're still cool.
And they talk to you about how you fried chicken and gasoline.
Well, you see in Okinawa.
Right, yeah. You smash like ice with your hand and fry your chicken in fucking in gasoline, yeah.
Okinawa juice. Yeah, Okinawa gasoline. There's a difference. Anybody
man, we probably got an episode title already.
Okinawan gasoline.
Okinawan gasoline. Yeah,
I need some of that.
Everybody does.
It's got way more radium than usual.
I spent all my rad packs last week.
The hell were we talking about that? We were fired up about something.
I don't remember, but yeah, it had to do with like Kentucky being Fallout 4 wasteland.
Wait, no, it wasn't. That's right. No, that we.
Oh, it was not.
Right. It was the way that people that live near ocean water think that Kentucky is Diamond City. You know, it's
pretty close to the ocean.
But not the Atlantic seaboard or, the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. I don't remember how that came up.
I don't remember either, but we were kind of worked up. It's all right.
Yeah, okay.
Will and I were hanging out yesterday. We got pretty fired up about some stuff, too.
What'd you get fired up about? I'm curious. I missed out.
Well, you were right.
My wife went to a Tool concert.
What?
He quit.
Oh, Brady?
Yeah.
You
were right about that.
Oh, I saw that today. Yeah. I thought he wasn't going to jet out till he was 50.
He said yesterday, he's like, no, he's done. I think he's done.
Really? You called it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because Brady let something slip or something where it was like
Podcast, yeah.
he said something to the point of like, my wife is really putting her foot down right now or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah, sure. Yeah, we need you around here so you can actually like change my fucking oil and shit.
well, maybe it's one of those. These are your kids too.
I think it was more the kid thing. Yeah.
These are your children too. So I don't just do laundry around here, son.
Well, and to her point, she's like, I get paid more than you do. You know that, right?
Well, you see, that's the ultimate like wife burn. Yeah.
Oh, she hit him where it counts.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
she went
Yeah.
straight for. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're just like, well, you're not going to make more than me, so fucking retire, bitch. Do my laundry.
Good point. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If
Awesome. We don't be like, cool.
Yeah.
You
Checks
got it.
come in. Whatever.
what are you gonna say? Like, if your life ends after 7 Super Bowls and you retire to being a house husband to that, you're like, I did okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I've climbed Olympus. Yeah.
You're not sitting there like you're popping like, well, so they cashed out my retirement fund.
Right. Yeah. I got to change my own oil. Yeah.
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 Where we got like our dad, so it's like, so this is cancer, huh?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I always wanted to.
I retired to this. Awesome. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Brady's fine.
what about Gronk? You think he's done
He's
so too?
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like he more or less, in code words, was like, if there's a certain guy playing next year, I might play next year.
That's
but...
not really code words.
No, it's not.
That's how Gronk talks.
Right.
Well, yeah, no, I know. He removes all the articles from his speech.
Well, no, you got to.
Gronk like the football.
No, I just told you the refined. That was him after like 8 weeks at Quantico.
He got interned.
No, that's a trained.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's his secret agent speak.
Got it. Okay, all right. So what about Rodgers coming to the Broncos?
It's gotta happen.
Oh man, that guy's a
gotta
fucking goddamn crybaby.
I take it.
So, and I will. That should be on my epitaph. Aaron Rodgers is a crybaby bitch.
Fly yourself to a title. I'm good.
He's not going to cry himself to a title.
He's crying himself.
He's going to cry himself into Denver's like open arms, and they're going to bitch about him for 3 years because he's not the great white hope that people think he is.
He's my great white hope.
Okay,
But
he's
I'll
yours.
also take the great black hopes too. With
Who's the great black hope?
Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. I'll take any three.
Okay, all right.
Anything. Any one of those three.
But these are like puzzle pieces that don't fit into that jigsaw. You know,
Which one?
The great black hopes.
Oh, Russell Wilson can win here.
Well, he could win here, but Denver will never love him.
Well,
Oh, no, you win a title. We love you.
well,
Oh, okay. All
they,
right.
they were rallying around Teddy Bridgewater for crying out loud.
Kind of, but they were also like, there's a lot of Broncos Nation that was like hoping that he would fuck it up because he's not John Elway.
And they wanted Drew Lock,
Exactly. Yes,
the great white hope.
the Great White Hope. Dope.
I don't know. He might have been good if he actually got coaching. I have no idea.
Oh, so management let him down.
I don't
That
think
happens.
he had the greatest skills. Like, he was a blockhead, so he would just not read defenses the greatest, but he just also was not, like, there's no
He seems slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
He was late to the reads and all that stuff, but they just called terrible plays for him, too. It was just a mess. But, yeah, no, I'm good with Aaron
You're good with
Rodgers,
Rodgers?
Devontae Adams
Okay.
coming. Let's do. Although what they say we're having to give up for it, it's like, let's just go get Russell Wilson.
Well, he should be a cheap date right now.
comparatively.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're saying Rodgers would cost all that much. It's like, well, what's
Because he's a crybaby
what's Green
bitch.
Bay gonna do?
What's his money?
But I'm good. They got his own offensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
Well, I mean, if you're looking
good.
for a quarterback on the cheap, I understand that Cam Newton is still looking.
Okay, next
Silence.
topic.
Crickets.
Yes, that says enough of it.
Excuse me.
Everybody's allergic to Cam Newton.
He drove
Well, you just
dumpsters
made
for
his
my team
name
for a
and,
year
like,
and a
did
half.
nearly, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it is the Broncos that busted him.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Busted him? What do you mean?
Well, he used to have this like swagger and confidence
Yeah.
before the Denver defense
He was the MVP
Oh,
that year.
yeah, okay.
just
yeah.
utterly embarrassed him, and he gave the most pitiful press conference in human history, which I was laughing at the whole time because I don't know, man. My fraud detector was going pretty hard with him. I was waiting for the other foot to drop. I was
Was
like,
he getting pegged?
I thought so,
Yeah, okay.
but that could have just been racism.
Racism. Well, your Twitter handle.
I finally got unbanned too, so I'm free to shit post again.
Oh, you're back. huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
You got banned
of course I got banned
for saying that I'm a racist?
for racism. Yes.
Well, yeah. Jeff said as a decorated racist.
That got you banned?
Yeah, because I think on one of them I kind of leaned into it a little bit hard. I did that and also said something kind of racist.
Oh, you
Yeah.
pushed it too far.
Racist. We should say that from now on. I like that.
I don't know where I got that from.
It's pretty
just,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just every now and then you call it out. It's like for what it is. Racism.
Racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So part of it, what we spoke about was like Biden doing, for the next Supreme Court justice, it has to be a black woman.
Oh, yeah, are you buying that whole, like, he's going to nominate Kamala
I just
thing?
heard that in the radio on the way over, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I heard that a
he
week
could.
ago.
No,
No. She
But
can't
if
be her
you
own
wanted-
tiebreaker.
If you wanted to get rid of her,
He doesn't want to get rid of her. He's not that smart. So,
and then we also talked about the possible conspiracy of the Pittsburgh Bridge going down.
it's not a conspiracy. It's just a really funny circumstance.
Yeah. That's,
But nobody dies in a major bridge collapse on the day that he's showing up talking about.
Oh yeah, it's all
infrastructure.
QAnon, and there's no basement in the pizza place kind of thing. I get it, but like it's just like, I mean, the guy's presidency is cursed so far, and so yeah. I mean, he shows up like what is it, an hour and a half before. To talk about infrastructure. And then all of a sudden, and people have to form a human, like, fucking chain to get kids out of the ditch. I mean, you can't write that. If you wrote that in a movie, nobody would fucking believe it.
But that would be the movie he would write.
I don't think he would write a movie, man. So, yeah.
I know it's got to be a coincidence, but it was just like,
Well, the whole thing about the Ukraine is completely blown off in the last 3 days since you and I talk. Because the dude was like, oh, well, actually, like, so the Ukrainian president was like, actually, you and the Western media should chill the fuck out about this. Which is completely, like, not what they wanted to publish. And just completely let the air out of those tires in the last day. So
it's weird. It's funny that he says that, but at the same time, you can look and they actually do have the entire country surrounded with units. But
Russia?
Yeah.
Well, the eastern piece of it, yeah. So, but like I saw that, what was it? He's going to deploy another 50,000 troops to not Ukraine. So, and you can't do it in Belarus because there's already Russian dudes there. And so it's like literally like, okay, so you're going to activate another 50,000 dudes, which is like half of what we've got in Germany. So it's just like everybody's just like waving their dicks at traffic right now,
Yeah, I had the opportunity to ask one of my Russians. It's like,
What do they say? I'm curious.
just exactly what you just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think she said waving dicks in traffic.
It's a slightly different cultural, like
Right,
yeah.
right. This was something that I don't know if it directly translates to your language.
Right.
Like she said it in Klingon, but
Right. Yeah. She said it in Korean, you know.
well, I was to say Klingon, but no, but she made it clear she's just like, this is all just saber rattling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I heard that there's no way it's going to happen during the Olympics, so they'll wait till after the Olympics.
Well, who the fuck is going to go to the Olympics anyway?
Well, because it's in China, they said, so they don't
China.
want to do it since those two guys are buddies, and so they don't want
Sort
to
of.
do it.
China and Russia are buddies?
That's
No, they
what
are not.
Said according to on the radio.
No, man.
Like,
It's like green team and
well,
red
they-
team don't mix.
They want
You
the
know.
downfall of the United States, so that makes them friends.
I don't even know if like Russia wants that.
the pairing of you two couldn't do that in your best scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the dumbest thing is we've entered. I know that it sounds like we're constantly going through this ring of warfare, what with the Middle East and all this other stuff. But that being said, the nuclear age has actually given us the greatest stretch of world peace, relatively speaking,
Oh yeah.
in human history.
Well,
And
yeah.
I don't
All
think-
conflicts since World War II have been low-level conflicts.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we dropped more bombs in fucking Vietnam than we did in all of World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was on a very small area. Right. It was
Right.
full of trees. You know?
That is correct. And it didn't involve the entire theater. And
Sure.
so the idea that these two nations over there are somehow collaborating to upend that, it's not how you win this thing. On top of that,
China
too,
doesn't even care about its Russian border. So,
not particularly.
no.
And on top with like Russia, this is something that's going to be solved diplomatically because now they actually have the attention of the states and all of NATO and all the European sides. They've all kind of agreed that if you set one foot in there, here's a list of things that you're going to have to find on your own, and we will not buy from you from now on.
Well, yeah, but also the other point of it is like they've done a pretty good job of like carving Germany away and Poland away from NATO.
Yeah.
And so like NATO has to act, like with unanimous consent. They won't do that. And so, at this point in time, I mean, it's just like it's horse shit. It's just like the media ginning up shit. So if you actually like see some of the polls, like out of like 10 Americans, how many want to go to like war with Russia? The answer is 0.
Yeah, you have to you got to pull more than 10 people. You got to get to about 100 before you start finding 2 or 3 people that are
Yeah,
saying,
exactly.
like,
yeah.
But then again, their answer is, yeah, but I would have said that anyway.
Oh yeah, sure.
We should do this just because.
Yeah.
We should fucking level it and call that continent over there America Island. And
You mean Taiwan? So that one's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right. So the whole like diplomatic service blob that's out there and stuff. I mean, they're not fucking stupid. I mean, they know that they're already out on like a limb with most of. I mean, all we would do at that point in time is if Joe Biden got us in a war or even a proxy war with like Ukraine, he would fucking torpedo him in the next election. So, he ain't stupid.
yeah, but he is.
I don't think he's stupid, man. I think he's like sclerotic, but I don't think he's stupid. So,
Man, I'm telling you, what you'd have to do at this point, this is now, burden of proof is on the prosecution now.
yeah,
So,
fair enough. Yeah.
You now have to convince me that he's smart.
Well, I don't think I can do that. So
You got to hit me with some evidence, brother. Because
I don't think I can do that, man. So I don't know. And that's why, like, the whole thing about the Kamala like conspiracy to get her plugged into the Supreme Court was really interesting, because the only person that would actually help are people in the Democratic blob at this point in time. You know, I mean, it's like really, it's almost like punting to red team on the 5-yard line and saying like, "What are you guys gonna do?" You know, because when it comes down to it, I don't know, man. Like, the Orange Menace has been taking some pretty serious harpoons lately, you know, from his own party.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's what I told William was,
Oh, yeah?
if the election were held now, any Republican but Trump wins.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
That's the
yeah.
no, well, that's not a guess. That's the
Oh, shit,
polling.
yeah. If Dan Crenshaw put up his, like, flag tomorrow, he'd probably fucking win.
Oh, well.
I want DeSantis.
Hey, that's the Florida guy, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I like how he ran things down there.
Well, just like the
Not bending the knee
Yeah.
to the. Yeah.
See, I would vote for Polis in a day tomorrow, even though he's a Democrat, but he was also like, all right, fuck it. Y'all are on your own.
Yeah.
You got all the things that you need. There's no more masks. There's no more, like, shit. But that guy's coming from blue team
Correct.
saying that, you know, which,
It's
like,
shocking.
Doesn't make you any friends on the blue team.
I don't know about that, man.
CNN
So-
had it like they even talked about him as president.
Who, Polis or
Yeah.
DeSantis?
Polis.
No, see,
After he did that, they're like, well, that just kind of jumps you up there because you.
if Polis ran in the primary against Joe Biden, I'd fucking vote for him in a heartbeat because I'm still registered blue team. So yeah,
Well, see, all right, that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
well, who would you vote for?
Well, I'd have to vote for him. I'd have to vote for Polis because that's my. It's the same strategy that I follow with who I pick when it comes to two boxers or MMA fighters I haven't seen before.
Oh, if one of them was local, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That guy
Yeah,
seems
fair
really.
enough. Yeah,
If they ever say that this guy's coming out of Colorado, it's like, that's my guy.
yeah. Yeah, but I remember like 2 years ago when the whole pandemic started, there were a bunch of people like that I would hang out with who were about like Polis and
Familiar
like,
with their work.
yeah, exactly. That's all silenced now.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, actually, that guy's pretty fucking cool. You know,
Or how he could have ran things. Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with him. No, not at all. I hear he likes guys.
He does like the guys. Yeah, he's married to a dude. So, but hey, man, I mean, I guess that means the Twitter mob has a harder time taking you down
That's
if you're
correct.
actually married to a dude.
That-
You know?
Well, okay, but that doesn't stop them from going after, say, Glenn Greenwald.
No.
Well, and that guy, like, yeah, that's because he actually shows up on Joe Rogan's show, and so obviously he's tainted.
Well,
So-
and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, he shows up on Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah, dude,
He is a Democrat, though.
I pay money to, like, you know, read his Substack.
Yeah,
The guy's fucking solid.
he is solid.
Yeah.
But he's the enemy. And the
He is the enemy
And
of
the,
the Twitterati. Glenn Greenwald?
Glenn Greenwald. I
Oh,
must
yeah,
have
he's great.
seen him. I'm
He's
just
the guy who
curious.
dropped the Snowden story. Like,
Oh,
what was that, like 8 years ago or some
Yeah.
shit? Yeah. No, he's fantastic. He's a honey badger too, man.
yeah.
He just like
Oh,
murders
okay.
people on fucking
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah.
gotcha. I just couldn't put a face to it.
But he's the enemy. Even though
Even though he's one of the gays. Yeah.
he chugs cock, I understand, but it is what it is. Look, this is the same shit. This is like when Will and I were talking about it yesterday. We were talking about how Evangeline Lilly was 99% on board with Blue Team, but then she showed up.
Who's Evangeline Lilly?
She's an actress.
Bring me up to speed.
Well,
I don't know this.
Okay, well, she's been on a ton of stuff, but she was like big on Lost and
Oh, was she on The Mandalorian? Is that the one?
No.
I don't think so. I
Oh,
don't think she
okay.
was
That's
on
somebody
there.
else.
She's the Wasp.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
the
think you've
Wasp
watched-
and
Oh, okay. No, I didn't watch that.
but yeah, she's an actress, been around a long time, and she attended an anti-vax rally, right?
Okay.
And
Also known as a concert.
well, okay. Well, this was a demonstration.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
In
and-
Washington.
Oh, okay. So this was like, not like,
Not just some people.
yeah, we're here to listen to Neil Young.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll talk about that. All right, but anyway, so she goes there. She's like, "Well, I have your shots. Okay." I think she said like, "I have your booster. I believe in the tenets of like pro-choice, which were the tenets of this party, but I don't believe that you should force people to do this."
Yeah,
And
sure.
They turned on her in 10 seconds and basically looked past all the other things that they see eye to eye on and said,
Oh, there's blood in the water.
Yeah.
So,
You should not use a platform to show such misinformation to the rest of the public. Like, even the actors that she was working with in the same movies, like, just.
Really?
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
whoa, dude, you guys? Like,
and the fucking angry dorks sent a billion letters and emails and tweets to Disney and like
fucking
fired
Twitter
her
neckbeards.
immediately.
Or
And yeah, and again, it was, well, you agree with all this except this, and now she's public enemy. She's persona non grata. It's
but she was in Marvel movies.
well, that's what they're saying is
Got it.
she needs
Yeah.
to be exercised.
So we need to delete those movies and make it with somebody who's politically acceptable.
Which is absurd.
Right, yeah. Well, wasn't that the same thing that happened with the chick in...
from Mandalorian?
Yeah, from Mandalorian.
Gina
Yeah.
Carano.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and this is like one of the funny things when it comes to like certain parts of like the fandom. Like, so there are a bunch of people who say Kurt Schilling should never be in the Hall of Fame, stuff like that. Now,
You saw Roger Clemens got flushed the other day.
he sure did. And Barry Bonds.
Yep.
Well, Bonds makes a little bit more sense. So just because he was an asshole about it.
So was
So
Clemens.
But he was a Hall of Famer before.
I get that.
Sure.
So like I was actually giving my brother shit the other day about Big Papi getting in, but he was like, actually, he wasn't a dick about it. And HGH was different than, or no, PEDs was different than HGH at that point in time. All right. And so like I accepted his argument. I'm curious about what you guys think about that. Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
I think they should all be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my take.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That was the era. It saved baseball.
Exactly.
Go F yourselves that you guys are being all high.
Yeah, but if
and
you go in front of fucking Congress and say, no, I didn't do this, does that disqualify you? Because that's what Barry Bonds did, right?
No, he
No.
didn't talk. He wouldn't
Yeah.
say a word.
Well, he wouldn't even show up.
Palmero was the one that.
Well, Palmero and fucking McGuire, right? Who was the other one?
Canseco.
Canseco, yeah.
Palmero was the one that said, pointed his finger and
Yeah.
was just like, I did
Right,
not.
yeah. Okay.
But I just call it a sign of the times. That was
Yeah,
what-
so
that's
my
how
brother's
baseball
like thing
played.
was like just basically like, all right, out of all the people from that era, this guy was the least offensive. And so
I don't think that should have a hill of beans to do with it.
okay. All
Nor
right.
do I. I still think it's screwed up that Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame. That he's completely.
Well, what about Barry Bonds? How do you feel about that?
It's fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well,
I thought he was a Hall of Famer before steroids, so I don't see.
Well, the
why.
same thing with Mark McGuire. I mean,
Yeah.
I still have a Mark McGuire rookie card where he's like fucking twig thick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No, I understand. And look, and I also won't dispute anybody's arguments and say I can't accept that. I totally understand that too.
sure.
But then again, look, there was a time when steroids were completely legal in football. You can't just erase it from the.
yeah,
There
the
was a
Lyle
time
Alzado
time
days.
in baseball where people were using speed all the time
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like, what are you going to do? Go back and just start deleting people and be like,
Yeah.
you did not have a clean history. You're out. You're out. Sorry.
So it's just a sign of the times.
yeah. It's what you used because that was there, and then it got banned.
Yeah. So if
Then-
you get marked up in the 1996 era, then okay, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, let me say it this way. All right. So every little bit of data that I've seen about that really makes it clear that the MLB officials were happy to turn a blind eye to it.
100%.
Now, I
Back
do
then.
understand. Yeah, I do understand that they've come to clamp down on it. But if the rule at the time was like you're trying to sneak things between East and West Germany, and you did it anyway,
Right.
then I'm like, no, you don't belong in the hall. There's no question. There's no version of this. the problem I have when they basically look the other way is we've talked about how few people actually make it into professional sports.
Sure, yeah.
Right? You were the best player in Colorado Springs
At the time.
right, and you
Right.
became an average player in the biggest league. So you have to be better than the best person in your city, right? And with a roster so small, in order to even maintain your competitiveness, and that's an open door, I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying I understand, right? If that's what it takes to actually stay in the league, then I understand.
So it's
But if-
kind of a Lance Armstrong thing, you know, like.
oh fuck, Lance, man, nobody.
Well, that
should
guy
ever
was
tell
just
him
like
that.
actually
Yeah.
trying to like actually maintain his position
Yeah.
within the situation when
Yeah.
everybody's gunning for him.
Well, and everybody was doing it.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Which is like the fact. I get it. He's the big winner, so you go after him, but you have to denounce the whole.
Yeah, but if you got guys like that gunning for you, you I mean, is that like a situation where it's like, you know, the folks who like fucking cheat push you into cheating?
Hey, like, I don't think that you should
If you
just
can
have
call it
like
cheating.
a block of time where nobody's a Hall of Famer because they were all cheating. Like, no,
Right.
these
Yeah,
guys
okay, that makes sense.
would have, like, if everybody wasn't cheating, they still would have been the best in baseball.
But if you know your baseball, you know what was going on at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I've eaten high protein diets. I never.
Had my hat size changed.
You had thrombosis in your veins, yeah.
So you're telling me because these guys, I'm like, you don't look like weightlifters. Like I think you lift, but you also play baseball.
Right, yeah.
Like I can understand looking at like Dwayne the Rock Johnson and saying, "Well, I know why you're so big."
Yeah.
That plus steroids, right?
Right, yeah.
Because look,
Yeah.
I think they've come
WWE,
clean. I think they've
yeah,
come
yeah,
clean
yeah.
about that now.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
said that they all do
Yeah.
it because they expect you to turn around to that size in 6 months for a role.
Right,
So-
yeah. You got to play heel now. Yeah.
Which is funny because have you seen Chris Evans nowadays?
No.
Huh.
He looks like a regular dude.
Oh, did he slim down?
Apparently, slim down is his normal size.
Oh, really?
So, my understanding is that his tenure as Captain America ended because it's kind of like, I can't keep doing this to myself.
Fair enough.
I
I
can't
wanna
eat
be
this many
Iron Man.
hamburgers. Yeah.
Well, that's not to say that Robert Downey Jr.
Wasn't-
didn't work out.
Yeah. But he didn't have to.
He wasn't Chris Hemsworth. He
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well, no, he was a 50-year-old guy.
God, Chris
yeah.
Hemsworth is just gone bonkers with it. Now I'm preparing for the next one.
Well, did you? Okay, so did you ever? This was another crazy thing about his routine, right? That I found out, and evidently this is super painful but effective, right? So the way that you get this to work on top of the steroid cycles and all that is growth comes from how much blood you can pump through the muscle, right? That's what causes the breakdown in the fibers and stuff. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Inject blood?
No. You
Child blood.
count as batteries.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, what you do is you restrict blood to keep it in the muscle.
Oh my gosh.
So you're lifting weights with heavy rubber straps around your arms and stuff to restrict the blood in there so that every time you pump, it feels like your shit is going to explode.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Why would you do that?
Because the
Wow.
muscles turn into.
Yeah, because he's in those movies and I'm doing this
Yeah,
for
okay.
free.
Right, he's not doing it for
No.
free. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Dang.
I mean, does it ever strike you funny that you look at... So, I mean, go back to Hugh Jackman when he first started being Wolverine. He kind of
Sure.
looked like my dad without a shirt on, right? He had a little bit of... like,
Yeah, he was a little bit cut. Yeah.
I wouldn't even call him cut. He looked like a guy, right? He
Well, you look like you had been throwing luggage for 10 years.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then by the time you got to the Wolverine, and I was seeing like
so many veins.
Oh yeah,
popping
there
out
was
of
like
everything.
vascularity in his toes, So there's
In his face.
like I could see it through his beard, right?
Oh. Those
Like-
aren't white streaks.
I was like, dude, you look cut. Are you telling me that workout, basically like weightlifting technology had come so far in like 8 years?
Right.
As to say, no. That's just not how you do curls, right? That's just not how you do it. Because he would have been lifting weights to be
Wolverine the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get to eat like one handful of like peanut butter and rice and and they're like, all right, lunchtime, here's your fish eyes or whatever, and so
Here's your deer fat.
yeah, you eat what they tell you to eat,
Yeah.
and then you do the workouts, and then if you're a freak show like Hemsworth, then you strap on the rubber band so your arms get huge. And I guess that's why, like, Chris Evans was like, I like playing this character, but, like, he's
done.
Yeah, he's like your size.
Gotcha.
So, to round it around,
Well, and Hugh Jackman's not that big either. So,
well, he's
Yeah, he's not big.
but after a while, like you go through like a regimen like that and you deflate a little bit, then you look kind of rough on the back end.
well, you do it in cycles.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not just I wake up every morning and I take my roids. No, it's
I bathe in stem cells. Yeah.
no, it's evidently the way this works is you do like 2 to 3 week cycles
Okay.
where you like do this really hard and then you come down off it and then you do that. So
Yeah, but after you go through a regimen like that, you don't look quite right out in the back end. Like I mean, I've known guys who are like in their late 40s or 50s who are pretty jacked. They don't look like that.
nope.
No, not even a little
Nope.
bit. Yeah. So
And there are people that can achieve that without steroids.
yeah, but it's just genetics.
Well, at that point, yeah, you'd go to the hospital and say like, "What's your T level?" It's like, I don't know, what's average? Well, 100's good. It's like, all right, well, you naturally make like 15,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
yeah.
are one of the X-Men. Well, you see that every now and then. It's the same thing. Whenever you see like a jacked bulldog
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a child that has a
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually of course you should be lifting weights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've already got like 2 steps up on everybody else. So
Theoretically, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Theoretically, they should be banning you from competitions because
yeah. No, I remember a couple guys like that from high school. So
oh yeah.
and a couple guys that I knew later on in life who it was like, yeah, you should throw luggage for a living, because it whatever. It works out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were dudes that you'd see that were completely natural, where you'd see them eat. Right? They were like, they're huge. So like, what'd you eat? It's like I went to the hamburger
bagel.
stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the bagel.
Popping burger.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I went to.
Oh shit, I saw a list the other day that was about old school things from Colorado Springs that you don't remember, and Hamburger Stand was on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Was hamburger stand a local thing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was on the list. It was like Hamburger Stand, Mall of the Bluffs.
Ooh.
There were a couple
What
of
is
like
in Mall of Bluffs now?
nothing. They bulldozed that motherfucker.
Did they?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No, that's where the
where Old
that's the
Chicago
King
is.
Supers is.
No.
That's where Mall of Bluffs was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They turned
No.
it into a big ass King Super.
No. It's fucking Gonzo.
Well, I mean, it's sort of that's what's on its gravestone.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that Starbucks, which is no longer there, and that's where the Blockbuster was. But there was a whole shitload of things on there, like Conway's Red Top.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that one.
yeah, and then there was like
we know why.
the Western Sizzlin' and Fur's Cafeteria
Yeah.
was on
Shoney's.
there. Yeah, Shoney's was on
Shoney's.
there.
Ah.
Yeah, Fuddruckers was on there.
Yeah.
There were all kinds of like fucking things. You like remember when Powers was a 2-lane road, and when Mark Shuffle was dirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of like heartbreaking a little bit. Giuseppe's Pizza was on there. Godfather's Pizza was on there. Yeah, there was like this whole list of fucking old things. I was like, fuck, I know all of them.
Did the Hungry Farmer make the
The
list?
Hungry Farmer was on there, yes.
Wow.
Showbiz Pizza was on there.
Yeah. We went into detail about Showbiz.
Yeah.
A while ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff. And you remember when there was an ice skating rink in the Chapel Hills Mall?
Yeah. That's right. We were
Just thought,
Boardwalk was on there.
Boardwalk USA.
Yeah, I was on there. There was a lot of shit on that list that I was just like, oh, fuck, I know all of these. Yeah.
What else am I thinking of? It's there was an ice cream place.
Michelle's.
Oh yeah.
Michelle's was on there.
Yeah. No. What was?
We used to go down there all the time.
Oh, definitely. That was a date place for me.
Oh yeah, that's where you get a schooner, full of like fucking ice cream, banana split. Yeah. So there were a bunch of things on there that was like, oh,
damn.
Yeah, that's gone.
It is
Yeah. Oops.
No, I was curious if you ever remembered the name of that ice cream place that had the model train running through it.
Oh, that was right over here. That was it wasn't a Baskin Robbins at the time. It was like the fuck was it?
I thought you asked your mom and she remembered.
Yeah, she would remember, but it had a train that ran all the way
Yeah.
along like a bookshelf. It used to, and they turned it into a bookseller. It used to be B. Dalton's bookseller after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but prior to that, yeah, it was an ice cream joint. And the same thing with what was the pizza place? Giovanni's
Oh yeah.
pizza
yeah.
place behind that. Yeah. So now there were a ton of them on this list, and I was like, yeah, I went there. I ate there. They had the Manitou water slide on there.
I know that came up in our discussion.
Yeah, that came out recently, but yeah, and actually it wasn't in Manitou, it was on Garden of the Gods on I-25. So
was that
yeah,
the one that had like that you would sit on a rug?
yep,
Okay.
that's the one. Yeah, and it had two tubes
burlap
that came out of
sack
the
or
top
something?
on that fucking like trestle made like staircase that you went up. Yeah. There was a shitload of stuff on there that I was like, oh god, man, I'm old. I remember all those things. There were even things that were like later on in life. It was like, well, yeah, it was like, Showbiz Pizza, but now it's Chuck E. Cheese. Got it. So
Well, it's also kind of weird when you're hitting that second cycle. So like right down there, you'd be like, oh, so which Krispy Kreme phase of Colorado Springs were you here
right,
for?
the
One or
initial
two?
one where we went and
Yeah.
got donuts the very first night. Yeah.
Was Lionel Playhouse or Lionel?
Oh, Lionel's Playworld?
Playworld?
Yeah, no, it wasn't on there, but that'd
Oh.
be a good one. Yeah, that's where I bought my first toy gun. So,
Well, if you're gonna say Lionel's Playworld, then make sure that you also say Tickle's Fun
Tickle's
Factory.
Fun Factory. Yeah. So Lionel's Playworld was there before the Toys R Us was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's been gone for like 5 years now, man. So, and Manitou Jack's was on there. You remember the turquoise place?
It's not open anymore?
I don't think so. No, it might
Not
still
if
be
it's
down
on
in
the
Manitou, but it's not down on Academy like it used to be. Yeah.
Well, I will say that there's some of these places where I can say I know why you're out of business.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Will know the sad story of Conway's Red Top and
You told me about.
Oh yeah, I got murdered by the IRS.
Yeah.
Because the Conways did not decide to pay their taxes for like fucking 2 decades. Yeah.
It's a good run, man. Like
Well, yeah, if you could fight them off that long, sure.
2 decades. That's a long time.
That's a lot of ocean to swim with sharks chasing you, though, man.
you know what? I think you got a point there because once you get to like 2 decades, you start thinking, oh, I guess.
They don't care.
Well, not even that they don't care. It's like maybe I checked the right box when I pushed it in the right form.
Please don't ever tax me.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it worked.
Yeah. 2 decades later, you come and just murder your household off. Yeah. What's that movie where the thing is chasing the chick? That's
Oh, that's a lot of movies.
no. The one where like like you hook up with somebody and
It follows.
it follows. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the IRS, man. Yeah. All it does is you got to just dip your hand in that honeypot once, and eventually it'll come fucking get you. Because they murder off the guy that you actually pass it on to, and eventually they get back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah. It's kind of freaky.
It's called It Follows.
It follows. Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
really
But
good.
it's got nothing to do with it.
No, thank God.
No, it has everything to do with the IRS.
On a metaphorical level.
Right, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not.
What was the second It called?
It's
It
just
chapter
it.
2.
Yeah, in chapter 2.
What? Oh, okay. I thought it was something like It something or, but I don't
It's.
know. I didn't see
Did
the
you
one
see
of
it?
them. No.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
Well, actually, I like the first chapter more than the second.
The first one was good. The second one
Well,
was dumb.
there are parts that are the first one that are just inexplicable. They're so weird in terms of
Yeah.
like, why would you choose the tone of this? There's a part in that movie where they're cleaning up all the blood in the bathroom and they treat it like an 80s like montage. It's so bizarre.
Yeah,
It's so totally
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Now I know what scene you're talking about, and it was like really out of place.
It's incredibly out
Yeah.
of place. Yeah,
It's like this would make national fucking news. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even talking about that. That goes back to our discussion of all cops or no cops.
All cops or no cops?
Yeah, in movies, either so like the Pulp Fiction example, you ain't gonna see a cop anywhere, and that's just the rule of their.
That's true.
universe,
Yeah.
Right. Then you have movies where the cops show up when it's very convenient for the cops to show up. That's
Die
bad.
Hard. Yeah.
Right. Or you have movies where the cops are a thing and they are there at appropriate times. And yeah, I would say like Baby Driver is a pretty decent example. of
Yeah,
that, where
okay.
the cops are a
Yeah.
constant force. They're there. But either they're there or they're not there. But if they just pop in from time to time when a cop would, at any other case, be here rationally, like you're just like they just fired like 8 shots in this neighborhood. Like somebody
yeah.
would have called the
Yeah.
police.
Yeah. It would have showed up on somebody's Ring camera.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I brought this up with Jeff because I watched the Hawkeye series,
Oh yeah.
and the final like battle stuff is in Rockefeller Center on the ice rink, and like the super tree like gets toppled down. Like there's
So you would have not
full-on-
only had all the cops, you would have had the fucking National Guard.
there was
there.
full on
Yeah.
people just getting slaughtered all over the place,
Yeah.
dying, and it's not until like and the Kingpin like thrashes the new Hawk girl, whatever, like,
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff, and then it's like finally the cops show up to arrest people.
Right.
Right. Yeah. To
And
clean up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like,
move along. Move
Oh
along.
my god, dude!
Yeah.
This is insane. You can't have a 20-minute battle and not have a single cop car
Just like
siren
fucking
go.
Vietnam, man. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
God, that's New York too.
Yeah, New
Yeah.
York.
It's not. This, that's right. This is how this came up a long time ago. This was how, if you make a horror movie,
The cell phone thing.
yeah, you have to find a way to write cell phones out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So the network is down, so we can't track you.
Yeah.
It was in the car, and the car's in the lake now. Like,
Yes,
you gotta
yes.
get rid of the cell phone. So
Yeah.
that
So it
you
does not
can't
have
call the
OnStar.
cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Got
fucking
it.
Freddy Krueger takes it out.
Right.
Unplugs it.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
He goes out to the cell phone tower, just pulls the extension cord, says, "All right, well, this is done."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just shuts down an entire grid of a city. You know. And people are not calling utilities within 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's just getting the tower. Right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of people like getting pissed because they're playing, like what is that game, like Marvel Legends or whatever on your phone,
Right. Yeah.
and it kicks it to offline mode.
Pokemon Go. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, I'm not connected.
What do you mean? Yeah. So. I got 5Gs.
Yeah, it's like I have 5G. I got no G's.
I get 0
Yeah.
Gs. Yeah. In the middle of town. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah. I better call 911.
This is an emergency.
Yeah. And if I can't call 911, I'm going to start something on fire. So they come out.
You're gonna get a cop here one way or another.
Yeah, that's just a stupid inconsistency. I guess a lot of people just cut it some slack because there's a point where you have to stop being Jeffrey and say like it's a movie, dude. Just would you just roll with it? For God, would you shut the fuck up and roll with it?
But you can't do it, man. And when a movie does it right, you like really appreciate it. It's like, oh, that could actually happen, But then like other times, it's like, no, everybody would be on their phone in like 5 minutes, and the National Guard would be here within 15. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like what we talked about with. We've had this discussion many times, probably because it's fun, but just Jurassic Park doesn't work where people are afraid of dinosaurs because Marines would fucking blow every dinosaur to.
Well, the motherfucker said the right thing in the movie. It's like, strap that thing down and go waste it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, let's do that, but let's like let a guy who doesn't know how to fly a helicopter fly the helicopter. It's like, no, actually, that guy's the instructor. He wouldn't just barf and duck out. He'd be like, oh shit, I get a machine gun something from a helicopter. Yeah, let's fucking go.
Jesus Christ! I mean, if you've ever watched actual footage of just those kind of machine guns from helicopters hitting things accurately at distance with so many
piece of cake.
Yeah. So I understand.
I mean, that's a great big red blip on your infrared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like, oh, okay, so like, I'm sorry, we're gonna just like miss this thing. Because I don't know, the trees are warm.
But it's not. It's the movie would hand wave it and say that this gigantic super T-Rex can turn invisible. Do you remember that? Do you remember that's a?
I do remember that, and they're like all walking in there, and you guys are already uplinked on like heartbeat monitors to some kind of infrared sensor.
Yes,
and it's like, wait a minute, so, oh shit, your satellite phones work on this thing, and so you could probably have. Oh, never mind, fuck it.
I know
it just doesn't work.
I know.
Because of course the dinosaurs have to escape. And I don't even want to see the new movie because it's going to be full of that shit where, like, dinosaurs show up in, like, fucking, like, drive-in movie theaters and stuff. Right. And, like, the local cops are like, oh, shit, we got a new one. Let's go machine gun it down. As before, where it's like every person. So there's 3 million goddamn deer hunters in Pennsylvania alone. Right. It was like, wait a minute, you could get a chance to go out there and bag a T-Rex, man. All right, so everybody in the United States with a remote interest in hunting would be like, oh, I'm going to go grab that. It would be on YouTube in 30 seconds. So
what you're talking about here is the single greatest expenditure of PTO in human history.
Everybody would take the weekend off. Everybody.
Simultaneously, of PTO in human history.
Now, that's the movie.
I know.
Yeah, that'd be a good movie.
Country shuts down
to go fucking
go hunting, and they don't realize the damage that country's going through.
It's like, oh my god, yeah, I'm sorry. Productive capacity in the United States does not make for a good movie.
Hospitals are shutting down. It's apocalyptic era in the U.S. all at once because they just let everybody go hunting.
Well, and Jeff and I have been talking about this for years with zombie movies, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, like if there was a zombie horde that broke out in one city, there'd be 1 million fucking people surrounding it trying to bag themselves one of their former neighbors.
like Homer eating what, Pinchy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love that
guy. No, he'd eat his own lobster, man. Yeah. So
no, we've covered that. Yeah, it was that discussion with Mr. Herbers, the older brother.
The workout guy.
Yeah. Where he was talking about the ammo expenditure day. Well, it wasn't just a day; it was like a weekend.
What is this?
So in the military, if you don't use your allotted ammunition, you don't get the same ration next time around.
Oh, so yeah, it's the what's the catalog? The Granger catalog rule. So
okay.
So you can order yourself so much more swag because otherwise you don't get the same.
So he said that the whole squad would go out there and you have to go through all this in like a weekend. and he's just telling me like, what is that? It's that fucking grenade launcher that fires like a machine
The
gun.
Mark 19.
Yeah. And when he's just telling me the destructive capability of one of these things, and I'm just talking with him, and I was just like, dude, the zombies don't have a chance. He's like, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
He's like, even if I didn't volunteer, right?
If I wasn't free that weekend.
Yeah. He's like, I can name at least 5 guys right off the top of my head I know be there.
If my son wasn't being born that day,
Right, yeah. I'd be out there to Mark 19 my former neighbors.
And he's just detailing it for me like, this is it, you can't understand how fast it shoots grenades.
Well, let alone the A10, which shoots out like 30 mic. Yeah.
I know. Well, and really, when it comes down to it, it's helicopters. Helicopters would the scary accuracy.
I've played the strike games. Yeah.
Well, unlike you, I've become kind of like a gorehound lately. So I've been watching footage of this crap, right? And
it's horrifying.
And it's the distance upon which these things are accurate or don't even need to be accurate that is terrifying.
Yeah, you've seen them drop a couple JDAMs on shit. It's like fucking amazing.
The rockets that are smart enough to basically go through the air like this with their corrections and blow up like 14 guys.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And like 100 yards around them. Yeah.
Yes, and then take the thinking component away from these humans and...
Right, yeah, so they're just bumping around into each other, like chasing, like, oh, okay, you throw a dead goat in the middle of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And the same thing with dinosaurs, man. And that's why this whole movie is just like horse shit. Like dinosaurs got loose. It was like, dude, they would be fucking murdered. I mean, we have a hard enough time, like, actually, like, not trying to murder out all the mountain lions and bears in Colorado.
Right.
So, let alone that, like, there's a fucking T-Rex running around there. That thing would be bagged in 10 minutes.
Well, again, let me go back to this for a second. Evolutionarily speaking.
Right.
There's a time when there's so much oxygen in the air that it works to be that big of an animal.
Right. We're not there.
Those species had their time.
It would be like, I can't walk up this hill. Bang.
Yeah. T-Rex needs a fucking wheelchair to get off the plane, man. He's... That's bad
right,
news.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's... I understand it. I understand that you play with these concepts for fun, and I get it. But why you would take the time to then actually make a helicopter with like a 50 caliber, machine gun is beyond me.
Right.
Like, don't hang a lampshade on your own stupid inconsistencies here. You gotta point at it and say, no gas. We can't take off.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We can't get it off the ground. I'm sorry.
So obviously we've been nerfed by the script.
Right. So the whole, I mean, this is the whole reason that the first script works is because you actually do have the Dennis Nedry element.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that doesn't work when you actually release him on the wild. Then it just becomes like this political thing about like, oh, fuck, humans have fucked up the world in some way, and so it's going to go back to its natural state, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, no, we can,
We'll
like napalm these assholes, or like just turn the 3 million deer hunters loose on them. Who already have booked the time off to do that.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy, man. So... I don't know, man. That whole series, just the wheels completely came off that bus. So...
Well, it's Jurassic. If you want to talk about the definition of a franchise that is spreading way too little butter over a piece of bread that's the size of Maryland, right? You have a concept that works once, maybe twice.
Well, that's why Crichton murdered it off in the first book. He was like, oh, yeah, so the Costa Rican Air Force, not the United States Air Force, not the Russian Air Force, and not like a conglomeration of Air Forces, but the Costa Rican Air Force,
right.
Which probably has like 12 planes. Yeah, nuked the entire island. Called it good. Yeah. So, but no, we have to have the scene where we run onto the landing ship and watch a brachiosaurus like die, thanks to nature behind us. Yeah. So, because we were stupid enough to build a park on an island that was volcanically active.
Oh,
This is gay, dude. This is
I
fucking...
know.
God, why do I keep saying this out loud? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many holes.
Sometimes you got to get to it, and again, if you're there is a version of this where you can say, well, I knew it was dumb. I just thought the dinosaurs looked cool. Great.
And they do.
That's
they make
great,
them
yeah.
look cooler. They
That's
make them.
Carnosaur, man. Do it again. Yeah,
Sure.
it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some dinosaurs that weren't in the other movies that I wanted to see. So
I like
yeah.
those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, we got to flip over society and we have to live in a new world thanks to Jeff Goldblum. You know?
Is that what's happening in the new one?
I don't know. I'm not
Oh.
going to fucking watch it.
I thought you've already seen like
That is
previews or
enough.
something.
I've seen the previews of
I haven't
it.
seen the
Yeah.
preview of
It's
it.
gonna
You know?
moralize about some bullshit and
There's commercials for dinosaurs that are meeting the Olympic athletes.
what the
Are they going to
hell
eat them?
are you talking about?
That'd be great.
That's some of the commercials for it, because I guess they're partners. So
Oh, yeah,
a
with the
dinosaur comes out
dinosaur,
and comes out
yeah.
of the forest and looks at like some of the Olympic athletes and
Says, good job, man.
And then, and then it's just like Jurassic Park coming out. I'm like
Jurassic
or
Park,
Jurassic whatever.
Beijing, not Beijing, but
Right.
wherever snow does exist in China, that's not
Right.
Nepal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J-Bing.
J-Bing.
Yeah. It's Beijing backwards. Sounds like a real
I get
place,
that.
though.
Did they actually do that?
No.
Oh, okay. So the fact that I thought they might have is like indicative of.
No. I'm not. I don't want to go to this. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see like the last dinosaur hunted down, and people are like looking at it. It's breathing heavy, and it's like, look, he wants to say something. The dinosaur says,
It's like E.T.
yeah, he's like bleeding out, and the humans are the real enemy, and the fucking dinosaurs are Black Lives Matter, right? And then,
Oh man.
Don't
I
they-
mean, when did the Olympics start? Isn't it supposed to be like next week?
any time now.
Who the fuck cares,
I
man?
don't know.
Didn't they ban everybody from actually showing up to it?
Hockey players.
They banned the hockey players?
Well, the NHL did.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
They said, well, yeah, NHL Stanley Cup's way better than, going to Beijing.
Your money is made here. You're
Yeah,
staying
yeah.
here.
Right.
So this is where your bread is buttered, son. Yeah, okay.
And well, and in different years, they'd be like, hey, no problem. They'd be happy to go. The NHL would be happy to be part of it. But this year,
Like we've already missed. Like they've already scheduled a whole ton of games during the
Oh,
Olympic
really?
break.
So they
Like-
just like pasting over
Well,
that.
'cause they had so many teams miss so many
the
games.
COVID
Oh,
protocols. yeah.
okay. Yeah.
That's why.
So they just ignore invites.
Well, this is what the real scary thing is right now. I don't know if you've been paying attention to our Avalanche, and they're fantastic.
I didn't know they had like the home streak.
Oh
So
yeah.
I happened to. So the last game was on TNT,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and so I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll take a quick peek." And the Avs were up 1-0 against Boston, and then in like 5
You
minutes,
caught that game.
they got
Oh,
and in like
yes.
5 minutes the Bruins scored 3 goals, and
Yep.
I was like, I haven't turned on a hockey game in a long. I'm turning this thing off. And so I turned it off. I watched a show, and then the kids went to bed, everything else, and then the show was over, so I just turned it back to TV, and the Avs were down by 1, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll watch. And then they scored like with 30 seconds left,
Yep.
and then scored it over. I was like,
And then won an OT.
holy sh!
They've won 9 straight. And this is where hockey is a little bit messed up right now, because Colorado has now a significant 2 to 3 point lead on every team in hockey.
Not Florida.
Well, not Florida, but the difference is we have like 3 games in hand on Florida.
Yeah, but they have like 3 points more. So
What
I mean,
do you
it's
mean 3
not.
games in hand?
Well, because of COVID, there are teams that have played like 50 games.
Oh, okay,
And
so-
these teams have
okay.
played like 47 and things like
So
that.
it's 3 up on them based upon the fact that
Well,
they
I'm
actually
going with
have
the
caught
conference
up.
anyway.
So
So
the
okay,
conference,
yeah.
they're up by like
6.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was
Oh, that's
surprised
nuts.
Florida was. Like they're nuts too.
Yeah, well, they're
'Cause even their scoring is like matching us. I was like, ooh.
it's there are two teams right now with very high differentials, us and them. But yeah, but there's also we have games in hand because of that COVID shit. So if they're gonna be like, I guess we're gonna do the Olympics now too.
Not so much.
No, this is like a school that took like 9 snow days.
So we're making up for it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Dude, this year, because there's been no snow, they just wrote 2 in extra teacher work days.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they just said don't look like we're using our snow days, so we just wrote in 2 extra days off that your kids are going to
Did they do it at the end of the semester so the kids can actually be turned loose?
No, they did it 1 in January and 1 in February.
That's lame.
I'm okay with it.
Well, yeah, sure, if it works out, but like,
You dangle them so that you can use them for like early release for good.
well, that's what
behavior.
they're doing. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh well, shit. If we get fucked sore in March, then we're just gonna take those away. Yeah. I don't know, man. So school is dumb anymore.
Yeah, I ask my boy every time. I'm like, so what'd you learn new in class today?
Nothing.
Nothing. What do you mean nothing? Not a single thing new? No, it's pretty much the same as yesterday. But you said nothing yesterday. Yeah, it was kind of like that. I'm like, oh, dude, this sucks.
He'll be fine. So
I can't fight it. Look, I'm well aware that evidently I gave that same answer for like 12 years straight. I guess I was learning things, but
it didn't seem like it.
I don't know. Well,
it's like a flip book. If you don't see the whole book, you didn't notice there was
just
any
rip out
change.
individual pages. Yeah. So these are the ones where Belush shows up.
I guess I was like going from all of like the osmosis effect. You don't notice osmosis as it's happening because it's so slow. But you hang out there, you absorb some things, and move on with your day.
Yeah, I just he gets some stuff out of GT and things like that. So I'm like, all right, you get some, I guess.
My daughter's GT program is so stupid. So
The school stupid.
it's
GT program stupid.
she's like, read this extra book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And get pulled out from class like 1 or 2 hours a week.
Huh. Wow, yeah,
to
you're
go talk about this. Yeah, it's terrible, man. So that's why. Well, I have GT homework to do. I tell her, don't worry about that. It's not gonna matter.
Did they get like giant projects or anything?
She does, but she's like learned my disdain for group projects. So yeah.
If ever there was a misanthropic family, it is.
We're not misanthropic. I just can kind of see through the bullshit, man. I mean, I teach this shit for crying out loud,
You think I'm not aware of this myself?
Of course you're aware of this. And so, like I just pass on reality to my daughter. It's like, okay. So you got a 3-person project. That means you're going to do all the fucking work. So, don't do any of the work until the other people force you to. Yes.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I know how this goes. This is the reason why I haven't assigned group projects in fucking a decade because of that shit,
Ours aren't group projects. They have like a full, like it's the whole second semester. They have to work on their own individual project where last year they had to like research a place and come up with the entire thing, come up with like an itinerary for what cost would be to travel there, like all this kind of stuff. And
okay.
like, so they had to, and then build the whole diorama and all these kind of things. And then they do presentations to the school and then have like an open night where
Why you should go there and stuff. See, that's kind of cool.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I would have hated doing it.
And
to be honest.
he kept being like, it's no problem. It's no problem.
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 nights before, it's like, dude, you need to get this stuff done.
Or fail, whatever.
And he'd be like, I'm so tired. I can't do it so hard. So I'm like,
yeah, just fail in front of everybody. Then you'll learn not to do that again.
This year he's like, okay, as soon as we get it assigned, I'm going to knock this out. All right, we'll see.
Now he's your son.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
I worked with you.
I don't know. I just tell my daughter, it's like, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. You know? So, like, when it comes down to it, man, I mean, like, as long as you make it through high school, you're going to be able to get in where you want to go. So, yeah.
Well, your daddy wasn't getting you into Yale anyway.
I'm not a legacy child, so
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to get you into Harvard, Harvard, you know?
40% of their applicants are legacies.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And
So, and the rest of them are up to the Supreme Court now.
I want to talk about that, but I feel like I've already said enough. Like,
Yeah.
you have to understand, I'm still a liberal, but man, do I espouse a lot of far right bullshit these days. They've painted me in a corner.
I'm
Patrick.
sorry,
I
man.
don't
I
like it.
mean, like, so you and I were talking about libertarian AIDS the other night.
No.
So-
Libertarian fungus.
Libertarian fungus. There we go.
Spores, yeah.
Spores. And, like, I look at a school like Harvard or Yale or this whole thing that's coming up on affirmative action with the court here next couple days.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, Harvard's got like a $8 billion fucking dollar endowment.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever the fuck you want with it. I don't care. You know? Like, when it comes down to it, all right, so if you want to admit 80% legacy killed children, go for it. See how that works out. You know, if you want to be a merit-based school, be a merit-based school, whatever. So nobody's got strings over you. Do what the fuck you want to do. So
Yeah, I can't say that though.
no, I get that. Yeah,
No, because the second that you say that, then I'm like, yeah, well, my ice cream shop says whites only.
yeah. Well, you can't do it to that extreme, I guess.
Then you shouldn't be able to do it to that extreme either.
Well, I'm not seeing this as an equivalency. So
You're denying people on the basis of their race, or accepting them on the basis of their race.
possibly.
So,
Or if they want to turn around and say, like, okay, even though the court shut down affirmative action, we want to do affirmative action. I don't have a problem with that. So, you know, I don't know, man. So,
yeah, well, okay, it's not difficult for me. It's like
do you think it should be a meritocracy based thing?
if you have a segment of if you're running it as a meritocracy, which they do.
I don't think they do.
No, they present it as because
They present it as, but if you're still taking a third of your applicants or 40% of your applicants based upon like legacy, then you're not running a meritocracy.
Oh,
So-
are you under the impression that I think that that's cool?
well, no, I don't know.
No, of course not. That's
Yeah.
equally ridiculous. And I understand that this is basically a form of sanctioned bribery. So that's
Right.
so if you're asking me if I think that's cool, no. As far as I'm concerned, this is the same thing. Where all right, you can't do that. That should be illegal. You have to go out there and say these are the criteria.
Should it be illegal or should it just be called out for what it is?
It should be illegal.
Okay.
It should be illegal. It's the same. When you lay out rules and say you cannot discriminate under this, and this, the same thing goes where you can't take preferential treatment just because your dad went here
So, well, all right. So,
and your dad gave us money.
yeah. But should it just be a meritocracy then?
In theory, if such a thing exists.
Yeah. See, I have a problem with meritocracy. So,
What's the problem?
like, meritocracy, like, it's like one of these things where if you are the smartest kid in a room, it doesn't mean you're the best person for the job.
Sure.
You know? Yeah. And, like, I don't necessarily buy into the whole, like, legacy thing either. But just because you got a 1600 on your SAT and I put you in a whole room full of people with 1600s on their SAT, should you, like, get the best opportunities at that point in time?
Sure.
Isn't that the best resume for?
I don't think the smartest
Going.
people in a room are also are automatically the best people to make the decisions. So let me put it that way. So
Well, I get they won't necessarily make the greatest adults and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But for qualifying into college,
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be the best
Yeah, I guess if you run like an MIT or a Mines or something like that, and you do want the smartest kids, so
Don't they all?
no,
Well, I mean, you want the athletes.
no. So like my fucking school doesn't do that. I mean, we scrape off the middle of the barrel and sometimes the bottom of the barrel, and these people turn out just fine down the road.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying they won't turn out into great people and everything else, or great successes and everything else, but
Right.
when you're being sold as the smartest, the elitist,
But is that what Harvard is?
it's got that stigma.
I guess. But is it a stigma or is it like actually
Well, it's
their
not
brand?
a stigma, guys. It's not. Let's use the word here. It's not a stigma. It's not really a negative that they're attaching to it.
Sure.
That is their brand. That is their reputation. That is what they sell.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Right. As a matter of fact, half of what the reason that you're going there is because you want that name and the legacy that comes with this.
Yeah. So I mean,
commitment
is
to
it a case of
excellence
like
like a Raiders.
Harvard is trying to like have its cake and eat it too? You know, kind of thing. So,
Explain.
well, I mean, like, so obviously the school is supported by its own donors, which are all like vast majority of them are legacy
Absolutely.
based.
Yeah.
Okay, so why shouldn't they just double down on that and say, okay, so this is the old boys club, let's do this?
Because you can't have old boys clubs.
Well, you can unless they can actually survive on their own.
You can have a
Absolutely
women's
not.
college,
You cannot have an old boys club.
but you can have a women's college.
I guarantee you that if you wanted as a man right now to fight your way into a women's college, you could.
Probably. Yeah, it's called West Point. You know?
I
Yeah.
guarantee you can.
But see, that's kind of the point. Is like, are they just trying to have their cake and eat it too? So like, okay, so we're a selective school who take the best and the brightest, but we're not going to actually like base our admissions upon merit, you know? And so like, I think they need to shit or get off the pot on this one and say like, okay, so we can be an elitist school, all right, but we can no longer stand upon the basis that the only way that you get here is based upon merit. All right, you have to have connections and shit. So in order to get in here. You know, or if they're going to turn around and say, okay, so this is a, you know, a school that's based completely upon like we want the best and the brightest, then they should triple down on that. So, but they're kind of trying to do both.
But they're definitely trying to do both.
Sure.
And that's absurd.
Well, unless it works, I think it still works for them.
Well, it works for them because they're getting paid. But
Absolutely.
that's the thing is an institution's financial success does not indicate to me that there's any kind of propriety going on or any kind of ethical standards. Keep in mind,
Well, sure.
that doesn't mean that to me that doesn't make it successful. Just because look, cartels are successful. But that doesn't mean that.
I would argue that like higher education, particularly Ivy League schools, are fucking cartels.
Gonna agree. But
Yeah,
am I
okay.
gonna sit there and say like, oh, kudos to you, Latin America. You guys really have a successful business model going
no,
on.
I'm not
Do
applauding
exactly
that,
what
man.
you're doing. No, I'm not, and I'm not mocking you. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying here is financial success has nothing to do with my consideration about whether or not
Fair
this
enough.
should be, permitted. The problem I have with this is you are reinforcing basically selective with arbitrary criteria admittance
Yeah.
to these institutions that you present as meritocracies.
Right, but
Right.
they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, is akin to whites only.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the moral equivalency behind that.
And
So-
when the basis of that is, well, it's my business, I'll admit who I want, that is the exact same principle, and we
Right.
made rules against that for a reason.
Yeah, so I think they'll actually be able to skate their way through these cones here and actually like preserve the fact that it's still like an old boys club. On maybe not on a surface level, but like endemically. And then on the second level, like, well, actually, forgive me here, but I'm going to call it the bottom level.
Go ahead.
Where I actually turn around and say, like, okay, so we need to admit so many people who are from lower class socioeconomic status or from diversity ranks and stuff like that, but those students are not going to be like academically competitive. And so the middle piece there of the students who are academically competitive is going to disappear from a school like that. And so because they have that old boys club, the guys who sign the checks after their sons graduate or daughters or whatever graduate, and because they can actually turn around and say like, okay, so even though the Supreme Court shoots down affirmative action, we still have that policy in place. So that's an ass covering kind of thing that they're going to be able to do. And fundamentally, the school, well, most of those schools, with maybe the exception of like MIT, Mines, schools where they actually have a math standard in order to get into it, So, but it's going to take them an entire generation to actually establish themselves as meritocracies as opposed towards like what we consider a meritocracy in school now. So, I don't know, man.
I've never given this one much thought, so.
Yeah, sorry, man. I work in higher ed, so
Yeah,
I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
Well,
So specifically, I look at like a school like mine, man, which is D2 school. We're fucked, because there's a lot of students who like come up from like the high school system and shit like that, and they're going to be like really academically capable, but like a few years ago, I mean, we would add higher standards in order to take people based upon their scores. All right, but now like the state schools, the R1 institutions like yours and stuff like that, they're going to be desperate for students because the demographic band is getting smaller, that they'll scoop up those guys. So and so like a school like an R1 or a fucking Ivy League school is going to have to kind of like balance those two things where they're like, oh, okay, so we're still going to play the affirmative action thing, all right, but really our bread is buttered based upon our fucking endowment. And so like you're Mark Zuckerberg's son, yeah, we're going to take you. And I don't think that's going to change, man. So
yeah, and to be completely fair, based on the data, they shouldn't be taking that bottom rung.
who?
Harvard.
Well, of course not, but they will. It's a CYA thing, so they can actually like perpetuate the like, oh well, your dad cut me a check, so we're gonna.
Oh no! I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the bottom academic strata.
No, I understand that, but they're gonna take those students in order to accept the ones that can actually like cut checks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but I think
Yeah.
I've made my position perfectly clear that they
Sure.
shouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah, but
So I didn't hear, like, affirmative
Okay,
action is gone?
not yet. So there's a thing on the Supreme Court coming up here real soon. So
Huh.
we'll have to see how that one goes. So now, me personally, I've never dealt with like affirmative action on the job or anything like that. I've never been in a position where we're like, oh, this guy's an affirmative action hire, so let's get him. I've never seen that.
Well, I don't even know how it works. Like, do they go around and audit businesses?
No, they only flip around on businesses or institutions when someone makes a complaint. So, and then you have to, there's this thing called disparate impact. All right, where literally if you're in a community that's like 60-40, like white and Hispanic, but then you have a faculty that's like
80-20 or...
right, yeah, then they look
Gotcha.
at it and they say like, okay, so, and then they just look at your like screening processes and things like that.
Yeah.
And most businesses and institutions got really good about like screening that. So like when I am part of a hiring committee or something like that, I don't even know.
It's just numbers.
I don't even know the name of the applicant. I don't know their ethnicity. I don't know their gender. Anything like that. I just go through the qualifications at that point in time. And so they've gotten really good about building dams between like, that. When I worked on a railroad, that was different. So, I look at a resume and, it'd be like one of those things where we instantaneously screen people out based upon
Right.
like certain criteria. And they weren't even like affirmative action criteria. They were like, okay, so we're not going to hire somebody who's old because you're going to get fucking hurt. We're not going to hire somebody who's married. And if we could see that through your resume, it's like, if you put on like your job objective there, oh, I want to like spend more time with my family, you'd be like, fucking trash this
You
one.
ain't like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, that's all under the same guise. But now if somebody showed up and like their name was like, Maldonado or something like that, we didn't care,
Right.
So, or if you were a woman, we didn't care. Although we actively screamed them out too because they were, trouble. So,
In more ways than one, yeah.
well, which is extremely fucked up, but at the same point in time, it'd be like, okay, so you're 24 and you're a girl, you're going to be pregnant in 6 months,
Yep.
you know, and it was really fucked up how we did that. So, but at the same point in time, I mean, like, it was right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by
So,
men.
you're surrounded by dudes who are just going to constantly fucking sexually harass you. And then, you know, like,
You're going to probably...
So one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to cause me problems or one of the guys that you reject is going to cause me a problem. So no.
It just complicates everything.
Yeah, it just complicates everything. So now, like, that's an example I use in my classes is like how not to hire, okay? Because it's extremely fucked up and it's not her problem. That's your problem as a company. So, you know, fix that on your end before you actually, like, float a job out there. Mm-hmm. So, but in some cases, you know, that's just not practical. I mean, that's just,
really isn't.
yeah. So, you know, but like, you know, an affirmative action hire, I've never had like a situation where it was like, oh, we're going to consider this dude's race on something, you know? Was that true on the rig or? Well, you guys didn't do much hiring, did you?
No,
I never got
no.
Yeah,
That,
okay.
that wouldn't be our position. What I can tell you is that if you looked in the company directory, found a lot of similar last names.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, it's good old boys club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, like, we're the same way. Because, I mean, I hire a guy because his brother was already working for me. And it'd be like, well, if this guy's a fuck up, I'm going to come after you, you know? So, kind of thing. So, but that's kind of a shitty way to hire, too.
Well, and a lot of the guys were just openly racist, too.
Yeah.
So, like,
See, I didn't have that.
it was...
As an open, decorated race.
I still want to know who was pinning medals on you, dude.
Well, I mean, it's a small
like a thumbs up
ceremony,
or
but
something?
it's very ostentatious.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, because you said what, as a decorated, as a declared, as a published.
Yeah, as a celebrated,
As a celebrate, yeah.
God, there was another good one I threw there. I can't remember what it was. Renowned.
Is a renowned
yeah,
racist.
renowned.
Good one.
That was a good one.
And so, how long did it take you for that Twitter account to get taken down? Was it like a week?
About 11 days.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and then
right.
I had to sit out for 7.
You got put in timeout.
Oh, they put me on the naughty step. Yeah, it's again, most of this was defensible, but yeah, it was just I made a combination thing of declaring myself a racist and then saying something vaguely racist to the point where it's like, well, this is a no-brainer.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you were like trying to poke the bear. at that
No,
point
I
in time.
just
just testing how far that line is.
No, yeah, that was exactly it because I think it was in response to like the subway pushings.
The subway pushings.
Oh man,
What is this?
It's not. Oh boy.
Well, somebody from Deloitte actually got killed.
Deloitte.
Well, where I work at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, we had a bulletin about it, but it's where they just shove you in front of the train.
What? In like fucking New York?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're like black or
No, because you're there.
And it's not white people that are doing it.
Yeah, they just you're just standing there waiting for the like. There's records of people that are just strapping themselves to the pillars, so that people don't shove them in.
New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. I've
No,
never heard of that.
No, this is past 2 weeks.
There's been like since the Black Lives Matter thing came up like a couple of years ago. It's like every 3 months. Like,
Does it have to do with BLM or is it just a crazy person thing?
Well, it's also part of something called the knockout game, which we
What's the knockout game?
asked Rick Moranis.
I don't. Oh, yeah, where he got beat up in Central Park.
I wasn't even in Central Park, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically like you're walking by somebody.
Just
thump.
slug him.
Yep.
Really?
just total senseless.
But like, how? Like, is this common or is this just rando?
It's been happening.
Okay.
Or I don't know if it's just making the news more.
Yeah.
Well, no,
see,
no,
that's
no,
what
let-
I'm.
no, no, let-
yeah. I'm.
Let me say it
suspicious.
this way. Okay, let me say it this way. if I live there in a city of what 11,
9 million people.
I think it's up to like 11 or something.
Right,
like that.
yeah, but some of those you have to take the train to get near Central Park.
Well, yeah. So if you're asking me if I lived there, would I be worried about it like actually happening to me? No.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's what you can't tell me is that the people of San Francisco weren't freaked out when the Zodiac was doing their thing. Was it going to happen?
Okay, yeah. No, all right, fair.
But
yeah.
it's something where you're saying, like, okay, this didn't just happen once. This is happening on a semi-regular basis, but there are 11 million of us. So will it happen to you? No, but you have to be like...
But is it like race motivated, or is it just like...
It's never white people doing it.
Yeah, they're always caught on camera.
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah, because they all got cameras in every subway station, and it's literally at the train stop.
It's just like black
And
people just like randomly pushing people into the tracks?
Yeah, if you're standing anywhere near waiting for like the train.
Or is it like crazy people who do this?
Well, you have... It's not mutually exclusive. If you get to the point where you're going to push somebody in front of the tracks, you're pretty...
There's something wrong with
maladjusted.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's like the homeless, deranged, I don't know.
Yeah, so like, you know, like drunky homeless.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, at the same token, when you go to it and you say, where has the overwhelming majority of anti-Asian sentiments come from? That same community.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's nuts. Just and they
Yeah, but
always
it's-
show it like they'll show the footage of them getting shoved,
Yeah.
and then they'll stop like right before.
But is
the
that
train
like
hits, but it's
indicative of like some deeper racist sentiment that's actually going on, or is that just like fucking nut jobs?
I don't
there?
know. I don't know how many interviews they've had with the
Yeah.
nut jobs that are doing this.
Yeah,
Well,
because
they-
I know
they've
like
had
last
some, and they
year
have
there
talked
was like
about
that
it.
whole thing about like anti-Asian thing
Yeah.
that was based upon the COVID.
That one white guy that killed them all.
Well, and that was the point. That it was like really one-off kind of thing that was actually occurring, you know.
That he was just addicted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, the
Atlanta
massage
guy.
parlor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which really didn't have all that much to do with COVID.
No.
Well, or even really Asians either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just like one guy who got spurned and like fucking blew a gasket. Yeah.
Yes, but the actual attacks on Asian people, and I do mean attacks, where we're not talking guns, we're talking about just basically women beating the shit out of Asian people. That is directed towards Asians. for
Yeah.
being
No.
Asians.
Yeah, and that was specifically related to COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, that is to say that somebody from the Philippines or whatever would be responsible for this.
Was it somebody?
Well, no,
because it's China. So
this is what I'm saying here, is
that's
it's
why
not-
the anti-Asian. Thing
it's not a monolith over there. So you're asking me.
Well, yeah, of course.
So what you're asking me is, do you think any of my Korean brothers or sisters caught an ass whooping for what the Chinese did? I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Which then makes it Trump's fault because he said China was to blame.
Well, he's not wrong.
He is not.
Yeah, but you don't beat people for that. Yeah.
No, especially
You're American.
when they're here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, no, I get that. So, I don't know, man. Like, there's this thing where, like, I think people look for, like, racist streams that exist in certain places that
Just aren't there.
they're just not really there, you know?
You mean the endemic racism of every human being on this country?
I think
is?
it's horseshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fundamentally think it's horseshit.
So many of us didn't even care about color that it wasn't a thing until you force us to be like,
Well, I don't even know about that, man. I think like there's a bunch of people who try and gin this shit in order to actually like publish more articles and books and stuff. You know, and when it really comes down to it, I mean, you and I, all three of us grew up in the same society where like we were in a high school that like, okay, so you had someone who dropped an N-bomb every now and then. That guy got his ass beat, you know? And the same thing is true with like, you know, like there might be like streams within individual communities, like the whole LA thing with the endemic like racism
Yeah.
against Korean like store owners and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like unique to that spot.
Right.
You know, and like so some dude like pushes some dude in front of a a subway somewhere, I can see how you can pull a racist stream out of that. But
one of them did post interview have basically like anti-white sentiments.
totally
but,
fine, man. Yeah, no, I mean, but I'm going to call that one as a one-off.
well,
I'm not going to call it as endemic to that entire community in that
Have they
case.
all been women that are pushed?
no.
No. Okay.
Oh, no?
No, I don't believe so. But what I can tell you is I can say without any reservation is that there hasn't been a white guy caught doing this.
But what do you mean by that? Does that mean that there's not racism that exists within the white community?
No, what I'm
Well, of
saying
course
here
not.
is they haven't pushed anybody in front of the subway.
But what's your meaning behind that? So, by pointing out that fact, you're pointing towards a meaning. So put your finger on it.
All right. What I'm saying is that there haven't been any white people that have done that. So
you're not doing it. Yeah, I gotcha.
no, what I'm saying is, okay,
But it's not in white nature.
Are you saying that there's a problem within the black community that needs to be addressed?
yes, but
Okay.
we've known that. We've known that for decades,
Sure.
right? We've known that for decades. So, if that's the problem I have with this, okay, is the circular argument with this is always going to point back at white people,
Sure.
right? Which makes this utterly futile to discuss in an open
Well, they're the
forum.
easiest target. So,
I get it, but at the same time, number one, you haven't heard of it, right?
no.
You also haven't heard of basically the race of the people doing this. They're not making it a big deal to let you know that the overwhelming, I'm talking to the point of like 90% of all Asian-based hate crimes has been perpetrated by the black community. They have not talked to you about this.
Sure.
Right? They only reveal the identity of a mass shooter if that person is white. If they
Yep.
happen to be
And male.
white and male, yes, but then again, to be
That's
fair,
all of them.
women
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Well, no, actually not. It is this white
Well, no,
males
that's
are
fair.
not the
Yeah.
white males are not the significant amount of mass shooters. Not even by a long
You mean
shot.
like gang violence and
Correct.
Well, yeah,
when they divide
absolutely.
it as basically, I think it's 4 or more murders, right?
It's black on black crime. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah.
But you recategorize it to say like, okay, well, no, you have to point it this way.
that was just gang violence, so that's expected.
Yeah, it's just attrition.
I mean, that is that's how it is brought out. Like you're just like, well, that was gang.
Sure,
gang
I understand.
violence.
Well,
What a
I mean,
travesty,
like Jeff's on a point here
Yeah.
because like the whole thing's like true as well. If you look at it from a different perspective, so the media is going to glom on anything, like those guys in Georgia, so it's white on black crime, kind of thing. All right, so fair enough. All right, but really, when it comes down to it, like just the milieu of day-to-day like shootings in the United States are that attrition piece. Okay,
Correct.
and so everybody's inured to it in some ways.
No. But this is the issue, okay? Is if you take that and say, oh, well, this is just, how it goes, right? You cannot address problems if you constantly sweep them under the rug and try to...
Sure.
Look, it's the same thing. This just, Texas, right? How hard did they try to hide the fact that the British guy, they kept calling him a British shooter. It's like,
No, he was Islamic. Yeah.
correct. Stop calling him British. He's not doing this for the glory of the crown.
Yeah.
Okay? It's pretty clear.
Queen didn't tell him to do that.
Not that I know of. All right? That's a pretty deep operative. It's like it's fucking 76.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when that comes up,
fucking take back your tea, man.
and you can look at the
Sure.
article and you can say, all right, if the article comes out and it does not specify the race of who it is, you know who did it. If
Right.
it specifies this was a white male, that'll be in the headline.
Well, yeah, but okay, so that goes back to my point. So if you point out the fact that the mass majority of homicides that are committed in the United States within any given month are black on black crime, Okay, so and report that as news. It doesn't affect any change at all.
But sweeping it under the rug does even less.
Well, I got that, but
because then it excuses.
You're talking about 0 and 0 still summing up to 0. When it comes to when you come down to it, like if I turn around and say like, oh well, this guy's a British guy, okay, that's like the only thing at this point in time that I'll actually gin up any kind of interest. Which has nothing to do with actually affecting a change. All it has to do is generate clicks. So
yeah, but this is the thing: is if you do not report on it as is, then it makes it excuses it. It's basically your way of saying, well, we're not going to identify this as a problem. This is like the problem I have with race relations right now. Okay, this is just going to be my bad teacher example. Okay. Right now, by refusing to acknowledge where there are problems like this only on one side, you're essentially that bad teacher that holds the entire class after class for what one person did.
The jelly donut rule. Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you have problems and you've broken it down, you have seen the demographics and you say, all right, so if there's a problem in this culture that needs to be addressed, okay, then why are you holding everybody after class and saying, well, the rest of you need to stay out? Bullshit.
No.
Utter bullshit. Because then the other argument is, well, this is because of endemic, why? It's okay, great. So you're telling me it exists, but you have no measurables to say this is how it's happening and this is who's doing it.
Well, not even the measurables. You have no instigation to actually fix it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I can point to you and say, within the legal system, we've made it completely illegal to discriminate against people based on these things. So you've done that on a government level, right? On a civil level, right? I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard, very hard, for you to do this without repercussion, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Institutionally, you're going to have to point to me and say, all right, where is it coming from? But somehow we're supposed to all acknowledge in school constantly and in work that it exists.
Yeah.
That institutional racism is just the dark matter of the world we live in. You have to acknowledge it exists. Fucking ridiculous. And it stops you from ever addressing the problem and saying, well, the problem's here.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, like to your own point, so none of those, efforts actually alleviate the problem. So the problem itself will actually persist. So it's like a cancer that still exists, and eventually, we realize that this topical cream that we put on it doesn't really fucking do anything.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
And so, I'm looking at it, from this point in time. I just did my fucking, EEO training the other day.
There you go.
It's fucking horse shit, and nobody pays attention to it anymore, because really, when it comes down to it on an institutional level, we don't look at a guy and say, oh, you're fucking black, we're not going to hire you.
Exactly.
And so that problem's already solved on a certain level. But if we look at some of these instances where okay, so we're going to ignore black on black crime in Chicago, that doesn't mean the crime in Chicago is going to fucking stop. So eventually, exactly. So at eventually some point in time, more pragmatic and rational minds will take a look at that and say actually this is a bad idea.
You would think that. But
or you'd move.
That's what I think.
Or you'd move, and that's what I see a lot of the folks that I've known, in certain respects where they don't like the situation that they're in, regardless of what kind of, socioeconomic or ethnic background they come from. They say, fuck this shit.
I'm out of here.
So I'm out.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. That's an option, right?
Sure.
However,
unless your mom doesn't move, so
correct,
right? Yeah.
Well, the other part of this, right? This is the other part of this that does not speak to that, right?
Sure.
This is the problem that I have is within these places. Okay, all right. I'm just going to put it to you this way: I have gotten mad at companies before.
Sure.
Right.
I've seen you do it.
All right.
I've seen you take it all the way to the top, Jeffrey.
All right. Okay. No, but I want you to think about it.
I've never called my CEO moneybags. You have. You've always got that one on me.
Yes. But let me put it to you this way, okay? If Dunkin' Donuts does me wrong,
sure,
okay, then it's not that I'm not going to eat donuts ever again. I will find another donut place and I will patronize them even harder. Right?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to solving these problems, my biggest issue is, if people know this is true and you look at your leadership, how the fuck do you keep electing the same people over and over again if you don't report on this as a problem? So you have to basically blow this up and say, this is happening under the watch of this asshole. Okay?
Yeah.
So what do? Buy the opposite donut and more of it.
Sure.
And if the other donut is bad, you go back. But that's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you hide this and just say it's not a problem, this is just where it is.
Right.
Then you do not expose it for the train wreck that it is.
Yeah.
You are hiding the reality of this.
Yeah.
And you're perpetrating the exact same cycle because it's like, well, what did the last guy do? Fucking nothing. All right, cool.
That's
I'm going to do
correct.
more of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
What happened when New Yorkers actually got pissed off enough?
They elected a fucking cop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, they elected a fucking cop who's out there kicking ass right now. So, it'll happen. But, I mean, like, on the national level, man, your politicians are always about half a generation behind your voters. So,
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like Joe Biden, or not even Joe Biden, think of Donald Trump, 2016, he's a complete reaction to, like, the failures of Obama and the fact that Hillary Clinton tried to get elected again after she lost in 2008.
She's going to try it again, too.
She ain't gonna. Well, if she tries it again, she's going to get fucking murdered. So, I don't even think Donald Trump will make a comeback. You're right. It'll probably be like DeSantis or somebody like that. But it's still that's still a generation behind, man. So if you look at it, if you look at like your mayor, like your local elections actually fucking matter. The one in New York's really indicative.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it takes extreme situations to enact that change.
It takes an obvious level of dumbassery before people do things. So a truly obvious level of dumbassery, like de Blasio did.
Stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing on the West Coast, man. I mean, the folks in like Portland, Oregon's been flipping their entire city council over. San Francisco will be next, man.
No
so
way.
LA will actually be next,
Dude,
man.
They had the chance to get rid of Gavin Newsom, and they overwhelmingly kept him.
Yep.
Even though he just went to the trains and like, I can't believe this is happening in my city. Motherfucker, you know this is happening.
Nah, all right. So I'm going to give that guy a little bit of slack. All right.
How dare you?
Wait, exactly. I'm going to give that guy a little bit of slack. So the fact that like the entire state of California said like, oh, actually, no, you did a pretty good job on some of these things. And I get it. So there's the things in the media that show up like LA and San Francisco and stuff like that. Vast majority of the state was like, no, actually, we'd rather keep you because you did a couple of really good things based upon like disaster response and stuff like that, not just to COVID, but also the fires and things like that. So, okay, fine, whatever. All right. So, but like local level, like LA, that's going to flip over. It already has in some respects. All right, maybe not San Francisco because it's kind of special kind of thing.
It is,
but like Portland's already flipped over 2 of their city council members, so that one, and so I mean, like I said, on the local level, you're only willing to put up with so much dumbassery because you can have an immediate impact on that. And New York's a good example of that.
Yeah.
So nationally, it takes 4 to 8 years to actually do that shit. So Donald Trump was a good shot across everybody's bow. So
no, we've talked about this before. It's like leaving food out. That's how you get Nixon's. We've talked about this, because if you
they just fill the sink.
We've said this. It's like, all right, if you don't clamp down on certain things, if you basically make people get afraid, you get Nixon's.
Yeah, put them in the goddamn dishwasher.
Yeah, I know.
Shit, man, we're at like fucking almost 2 hours here.
Oh, do you want to? Okay.
We're at wait. Where is it? We're at $1:48. This is like the longest one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we haven't convened the 3 of us in some time.
That's true.
This is sort of like a homecoming. I've seen the 2 of you independently. So, but since we have so few football picks,
we need picks.
Can you?
Bengals +7 and Rams -3.5.
Rams -3.5.
Yeah.
Huh.
They've lost like 7 in a row to the Niners.
Okay. So who's your pick overall?
Really want the Bengals, but I just don't see it happening this year. But
See how next week goes.
I'm really for the Super Bowl. I'm gonna cheer for the Bengals. I always loved the Bengals,
Okay.
so that might not be the smart decision, but that's where my heart is.
Bengals.
Yep.
Bengals take it all, huh?
Bengals take it all.
All right.
That's where the money will be made.
In theory.
They'll be underdogs.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.